Welcome to SemStrive. If you are tired of confusing notes and last minute stress, you are in the right place. Let's make this semester easier together. In this video, I am going to explain about the second SDLC methodology, which is nothing but the spiral model. This spiral model has two names, which is also called as version control and iteration model. Here, the entire software is divided into smaller parts, which is called as modules. And this spiral model, initially, this spiral model is proposed by Boehm in 1986, and it is also called as a meta model because it is used in large products and the projects which have lot of risk. Thus it is called as risk driven software development process model. It is a combination of waterfall model, iterative model and prototyping model. I am going to explain you about the iterative and prototyping model in the upcoming sessions, and I have already posted the waterfall model video, so you can go and watch my video. I will give a description link. The waterfall model is nothing but the step-by-step development process, and I will give a quick intro for the iterative model and the prototyping model. Iterative model, it is a model which takes the customer approach, and the prototyping model, it is nothing but first we need to develop the prototype and then we are going to develop the actual model. So this spiral model is a combination of all the three models: waterfall, iterative and prototyping. The spiral model is especially used in the gaming industries, and it is also used in Microsoft and OS versions. There are totally four phases in the spiral model. The first phase, it is the planning phase. In this planning phase, the requirement gathering and analysis is done. The communication between the customers and the project head is happening here, and the project head needs to collect all the requirements from customers, and system analyst then analyze the estimated cost, scheduled and required sources of the project. They are analyzed, and finally it is documented into the SRS document. And the second phase, it is a risk analysis phase. This risk analysis phase is very important in the spiral model because the spiral model is used in large projects like ISRO, NASA, which means NASA, ISRO, it means ISRO. So there will be lots of risk and security issues. So the risk analysis phase is very important. We should identify all the potential risks like technical, hardware, software risks, and for solving those risks, the risk mitigation strategies needs to be planned earlier. Then a prototype, that is nothing but a replica of an actual model, needs to be designed, and thus in risk analysis phase they develop a prototype before constructing the actual model. Prototype building, it means nothing but the blueprint which needs to be built before the original product it is designed. So before that, it needs to, before building the actual model, we need to build a blueprint, which is nothing but the prototype. And the third phase, it is nothing but the engineering and execution phase. Here the development and testing, there is a designing, development and testing, all of the things are occurring here as per the final prototype, which is built in the risk analysis phase. And here the original model, the actual development starts here. The developer perform actual coding implementation, and the tester will perform all the testing methods. They will deploy or release these products to the customer environment, which is nothing but the evaluation phase, which is the fourth phase. This evaluation phase, it takes the feedback from the customer. If customer wants to change anything, then it goes to the spiral iteration. This spiral model is iterable, and here it is the inner point which is called as the spiral. Okay, every cycle covers all the phases and produces versions like V1, V2 only work when there is dependency on previous model. So every phases will cover all the four phases, which means it is one cycle. So if there is any error or any requirement needs to be changed, then it after completion of the whole phase, entire phase, then we need to add the iteration based on that. Okay. So the spiral model, it is used when the project is large and you are having a high budget and the requirements, they are unclear and they are complex. If you don't have a clear requirement by the customer, from the customer, if the customer is totally unclear and he needs to change requirement again and again, so for that purpose the spiral model is best, and the software needs continuous risk evaluation and the creation of prototype, it is very applicable. So in this cases the spiral model is used, and if the changes may require at any time, so then you are going to choose the spiral model. If it is also suitable for long term project commitment which is not at all feasible, uh, only works when there is dependency on the previous model. New software is released to customer in every end of each cycle. So 1 2 3 4, it is one cycle, and they again it will iterating to the next cycle, and again it will iterate to the next cycle until and unless the module is completed. Every cycle follows SDLC. It looks like waterfall model. So they are saying that every cycle falls under the SDLC category, which looks like a waterfall model. Only one testing phase for overall cycle. There will be a one testing phase for overall cycle. So it will lead to more bugs. In requirement analysis, let me explain you this. So after completing this 4 phases, then only the testing is conducted. For or the testing is not conducted again and again, only once the testing is conducted, so there will be more bugs. Coming to the advantages of the spiral model, high amount of risk analysis is done here, because the testing is done after each cycle before going to the next cycle. So the high amount of risk analysis is here. And the second one, the risky parts, they are developed, they are first developed, then the actual parts are developed. Thus it will help in the better risk management, and it is useful for large and critical projects. It allows us to use the prototypes, and it gives some priority to the customer feedback, accommodate new and frequently changing requirements. You can change the requirements again and again once you are unclear about that, and the customer will get to use the software for every model after completion of every cycle. So each cycle it is given to the customer, and the customer can use it, and if any changes he want to make in that, he can tell, and again in the second cycle it can be iterated. And the next one, the development, here it is very fast. These are all the advantages. As for the disadvantage, for the risk analysis, it requires highly particular expertise. It is a costly model. In the middle of the cycle, the changes or the requirements is not allowed. If 2 phases are completed, in the third phase, that is the engineering and execution phase, if you need to change anything, so it is not possible to change the requirements in the middle of the cycle. And it doesn't work well for smaller projects. It is only suitable for the larger and risky critical projects. Sometimes it is very complex, as it may go infinitely, so there will be a loop, so there will be a iterating property it has, so it will go infinitely. And large number of spiral stages, it will require the excessive documentations. So if you are going for cycles again and again, so the documentation will be high. So it is also one of the disadvantage of the spiral model. So these are all the things of the second SDLC methodology, which is nothing but the spiral model. Hope you understand well about this model, and in the next video let me explain you about another methodology. Thank you for watching.